Hey guys, it's Billy here. Welcome to the refurbish, refresh, spring cleaning VFR teardown video, part 4. I'm getting really tired of making these videos, to be honest. I want to make some more riding, more action-filled videos. So I'll let you know that this is going to be my last one of these. I just wanted to give you guys an update. The next time we do a video with the VFR, it's going to be all back together, and I'll be doing some sort of vlog or test run type video. So I thought I would bring you up to date on what we have done so far. So pretty much all we have to do now is I haven't changed the oil. So as of this point right now, I need to change the oil. You guys have seen me change the oil 3 or 4 times on this bike. I'm not going to show you that. I also need to obviously mount the rear wheel, and it should be good to go. I always, as you can see, my rear wheel is really nice and shiny right now. I always take the opportunity to clean the rear wheels. Front wheels all nice and shiny too. I always take the opportunity to clean the wheels on the bike when the wheels are off the bike, because it's really optimal. These are the tags they put on my bike to identify, I suppose. And for the humor of it, I'm going to leave these on for the trip and see how long they last. So here's my box of trash that we've pulled off the bike. You can see the air cleaner has been removed. That's the old air cleaner. We've got the rear brake pads and our spark plugs. Now the spark plugs actually were a lot easier. I've never changed spark plugs on this bike before, and I thought it was going to be kind of difficult. As you can see here, right there, that is actually part of the set of rear plugs. Now you have to remember that this is a 45-degree V-twin, so you've got 2 cylinders that go this way and 2 cylinders that go this way. And I thought those two, because they're pretty much underneath the front fairing in the front, would be difficult to get to. But having the front wheel off, it was actually extremely easy. And it only took me about 10 minutes to change out the plugs, and so it was a really pleasant surprise. As you can see, the tank has dropped. That means we've got the air box done, we've got the spark plugs done. Now the rear brakes were quite a pain in the ass, to be perfectly honest. I have changed rear brakes on bikes many times, but not on this one. And so I gave a cursory glance to the service manual, but I didn't really pay much attention to it. And the service manual showed somebody just basically pinching the caliper to release the rear brake piston so you could get the pads out. But in real life, it was much more difficult than that. You could not do it with just pinching your fingers. And in the service manual, you didn't even have to remove the calipers. You just pinched it, slid them out, slid them back in. But I had to drop the calipers, and this is kind of a funny story that will make you guys laugh, because I spent probably a good hour working on these rear brakes, and it was quite funny because what had happened was I pulled the caliper out and I pushed the pistons back and I got the new brake pads in, and then I slid it back in and all that stuff, but one of the pads would not go in very easy, so I had to get in there and kind of work it and manhandle it a little bit, and I actually had to kind of tap it in somewhat, and I had to kind of force it in. And I was really worried that the rear wheel was going to bind because of the forcefulness that I had to put this brake pad in. And so I gave it a cursory roll with my hands, and it seemed to be free. It seemed to be rotating just fine. So then I decided, well, that's a decent test, but let's start up the bike and make sure under the bike's power that it doesn't squeak, it doesn't make any kind of weird noise. So I started the bike up like you do, and I have it up here on the stands. It was in neutral, popped it into first. The rear rotor rotated just a tiny bit, and then it stopped. And I was like, shit, this thing is binding up. So I turned the bike off, came around, I pumped the rear brake pad to try to make sure that I settled the piston and make sure it was all nice and even. Started up in neutral, again, rotated it just a little bit, and it stopped. And I was just freaking out because I'm like, I have broken my motorcycle. At this point, it's really hot. I'm getting really frustrated, and I know I don't work well frustrated, so I go inside and I grab a soda and I sit in front of the service manual and I look at it and make sure I didn't miss something. And I didn't miss anything according to the service manual. I had it all set up and it was all buttoned up properly. I don't know what's wrong. So I come out again, and I look at it, and then I free roll it with my hand again, and again, it rolls free. And I'm like, why is this binding up? Why can I roll this thing freely with my hand, but under engine power, it binds up? And I'm totally confused. So again, I start it up. When I drop it in first, the rear rotor rotates about a quarter of a turn and then stops. And I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at it, and I can't figure out what the heck is wrong. Now, mind you, I had started the bike up, but my eyes were always on the rotor watching what it was doing. For whatever reason, I took my eyes off the rotor and I looked right here. And I realized this whole time I had never let the clutch out.